I am Dr. Sujit Dharmapatre, Director of MIT School of Indian Civil Services. Today we have with us Madhuri Garud, who qualified UPSC in this year. I congratulate Madhuri. Madhuri, how can you get the inspiration to do the preparation for UPSC?
Coming from a middle class family, I guess every experience that has come to my life throughout the process inspires me to be a part of the bureaucracy. Because when you are at the other side of the table, I think I can make difference to the lives of the people, several people who are at the stage wherein I was. That is the inspiration, sir.
But at childhood, do you want to do UPSC or do you want to become a collector like that?
I first had this thought when I was in standard 8th, but later on the things got hazy. So after graduation, I again gave it a thought, and then I'm here today.
Okay, good. What is your family background, and when you are preparing for UPSC, how families support you?
I come from a very humble background of Indian society. In fact, Maharashtrian traditional society. My father is a retired stenographer. He has retired since 5 years, and my mother is a homemaker. Both of them have put in extreme efforts in my preparation, and the culture and the legacy that they have shared with me is what contributes to the entire process. So I guess their contribution is 80% and mine could be called 20%.
It's good. Now, how you prepare for UPSC? In which institutes you have prepared? Can you elaborate on that?
Yes. I would over here, like in front of my mentor, Sujit Dharmapatre sir is already my mentor. I would like to illustrate that I have been preparing on scholarships. I have received multiple scholarships, first in the Chanakya Mandal Institute, and then in MIT CST Institute, which was a precursor to the MIT School of Indian Civil Services in Kothur, and then through Sarthi, which is the Maharashtra government scholarship. So all the financial assistances as well as the psychological and moral blessings that they gave me helped me through this.
The planning of the timetable that is important in UPSC. How you made the planning of your time?
Every stage of UPSC demands something different from you. The prelims demands are different, the mains and the interview, entire demands are different. So I would like to say that you need to adjust yourself, focus accordingly what the demands ask for. For example, in prelims, you need to work rigorously hard for 15, 16, 17, 18 hours when the time demands. And that is rigorous, revision, practice, revision, practice. When it comes to mains, it has to be an analytical and elaborative study. So even if you study for 10 hours, so that might be enough if you put in enough thought to it. And in the interviews, I guess interview preparation doesn't start when you clear your mains. It starts when you start preparing for the civil services. So the entire process requires multiple stages of preparation and you should adjust accordingly.
Okay. Now, what is your optional subject for mains?
I had anthropology as my optional.
Okay, where you have prepared for the anthropology?
Just like I mentioned that I had received a Maharashtra government scholarship called Sarthi, which sponsored me in Delhi. I studied it from Sri Ram's Institute of Civil Services.
What motivated you to select anthropology as an optional subject?
I have a varied academic background. I have my bachelor's in psychology, my master's in political science, master's in anthropology, and currently law. Amongst all these subjects, anthropology caught my attention because it had 4 different parts in its syllabus. Paper 1, 2 parts, paper 2, 2 parts. The diversity I thought would not help me, would not let me get bored of the subject. So I took diversity as a parameter when I chose anthropology as an optional.
Okay, good. How many attempts are required to clear UPSC?
I guess if you work perfectly hard and when you have the right mentorship, 1 attempt is enough, sir. At the most, 2 are enough.
How attempt you required?
This was my technically the 2nd attempt. Yeah.
In each attempt, how you define your strategy? How you change your strategy?
In 2019 attempt, when I did not clear my prelims, It was only because I was not psychologically prepared. Mental toughness is what UPSC requires the most. I studied a lot harder during my 2019 attempt, and I couldn't manage the 2 hours of the prelims. I made terrible mistakes when I was in the exam hall. So then I decided that unless and until you are fit for the services, UPSC is going to kick you out at every level. So then I worked on the mental alertness, meditation. I focused on what is required, mental toughness, balance. And then I think even with little efforts as compared to 2019, 2020, I made it.
Very good. Now, in these days, the pattern of prelim examination is changing year by year. How can you cope up with that attempt?
Yes, UPSC is rightly called the unpredictable or uncertain public service commission. Every year something new comes up from the UPSC. And looking at the trend right now, I think prelims, which is the largest definer, because from 10 lakhs you just come to 10,000 in mains. The pattern is changing. You need to practice a lot. You need to revise a lot. You need to be in touch of the current events, not just mechanically reading newspapers, but being aware of the situation around you. The question, I would like to substantiate it with an example. Last year there was a question on the herds of elephants in the prelims. So this is not something you could find in book. This is something you could find elsewhere. When you observe elephants, or when you see something in a documentary on discovery, or the extracurricular activities that you come around. So now UPSC is not bookish knowledge. Now UPSC is something more than that.
Okay, good. Now, in men's exam, there is essay and ethics, right? And case studies are there. What are the different sources that you have utilized for the study of ethics, essay, and case study?
When it comes to uh, essay you need to find your strong points. For me, philosophical essays was my strong point. I could take an abstract idea and move around it for 10 pages. Similarly, there are certain people who have technology as their strong point. Maybe they could write technological essays. And to come to the preparation, I guess writing more, getting it evaluated from the right persons. For me, it was Jawad Kazi sir, who was my personal essay guide for me. He took a lot of efforts. And for ethics, I think ethics is all about what is on the inside. For technical definitions, you do need to refer uh, certain books that are already in the market. I would not name them, but it is what is in you internally. Case studies, like we see, you need to read a long question, you need to attempt it, analyzing what is it in it. So I guess key, throughout your preparation, if you are a natural person, if you are good at heart, if you have that tendency to help people, that comes out naturally in the paper, because 3 hours is quite a less time to attempt 250 marks. So that is it.
Now, as you have said, that UPSC is an unpredictable civil service. What motivate you? What is the self motivation for you?
I guess my parents are my motivation. Looking at them and finding a way to make them happy through their struggles of 20, 30 years, bringing me up, struggling and sacrificing a lot to give me all that I have had, is what is the best motivation for me.
Excellent. Now, when you are preparing for UPSC, do you want there should be plan B? And what is your plan B?
Yes, yes, I definitely agree with what Sir says, and he himself is a strong supporter of having a plan B. UPSC, if you see the ratio, 10 lakh people appear, 10,000 get through the mains, 2,000 for the interview, and in the final list, there are roughly around 800 people. So almost more than 9 lakh people do not get through. You need to have plan B, because right now when the globalization is fast running and the employability is less, it is very less right now. Even if you have a degree, you do not easily get employed. So plan B must be ready, because after exhausting all your attempts at the age of 30 years, you would be nowhere in the field to have a job for sufficing your own personal needs. So plan B is essential. For me, I am pursuing a professional law degree right now in my last year. That is plan B, as well as I'm planning to pursue doctorates, multiple doctorates, as I have an academic career.
Okay, good. Now, what is your success mantras to share with the UPSC aspirants as well as the students of MIT School of Indian Civil Services?
I would say that UPSC UPSC requires three capitals. it is psychological or mental as we call it. Then you have social capital, and then you have physical capital. If any of the three capitals is eroded, you would not make through the UPSC. Social capital is what support your friends, family members give you. Your psychological is your mental toughness, your mental well-being, about going through the process of ups and downs. And the third one is physical. Physics is more important. We usually deny what it requires, because if you are not physically fit, you would not give your 100% to the exam. If we balance all these three, and along with that hard work, dedication and consistency, get up every day and do the same thing until the results come up, I think that is the success mantra, sir.
Okay. Now, what about soft skills? That is a more important parameter to get the success in civil services examinations.
Uh, Instead of soft skills, I would say that an aware personality is essential. If you're planning to be a part of the administration, you need to be aware of what is happening around you. You need to be empathetic towards the small instances that are happening. If you are envious, or if you are not okay with the empathetic with the beggars, I think you fail there. You can be an IAS officer, but you are not the IAS officer that the nation requires.
Perfect.
Yes. So I guess we need to capitalize on all the strengths to be a perfect officer.
DP Agrawal sir has included this ethics in the UPSC syllabus. How can you see the inclusion of ethics? Is it more important for the civil servants?
Yes, ethics is definitely the most important part for a civil servant. The parameters are written. I guess that is not a foolproof mechanism, but as Mission Karma Yogi has been launched by the government right now, if we capitalize on that and regular training and assessment of the civil servants is done, I guess they can give the best. We are servants. We should remember that it is public service and not the Babu regime, as we call it. So I guess ethics is more important. If you're morally and ethically strong, you can give your best to the society.
Now, in this MIT School of Indian Civil Services, we have planned that the students should study during the graduation. Students should study UPSC, the syllabus of UPSC, the examination pattern of UPSC during the graduation itself. And if unfortunately he cannot qualify the examination, and we advise the student that he or she should give the only 2 attempts with the full preparation. If not selected, then they go for the professional postgraduate courses just like MBA, journalism, law, etc. And then they do the service for in the private sector. Therefore, in this MIT SICS, we have included both the exam-oriented approach of UPSC along with Plan B. What is your opinion regarding this type of course curriculum structure?
On my way to the campus, I have gone through the entire brochure, and when I came here, I discussed with sir a lot many things. I guess it is entirely a perfect syllabus, I could call. Because see, when you have a graduation degree and then you start searching for some resources to get into the services, it becomes difficult. Instead, when you have a course like this, a BA course which has integrated UPSC syllabus into it, I think your efforts are channelized to the right direction. So I guess that it is 3 years of preparation, as the entire program also has a 6 prelims mains interview program. Yeah. So when you attempt your first UPSC exam, you are already giving your 7th one. Correct. So I guess the preparation in this course would make a person full-fledged. And in the process, as you mentioned, that there is always a scope for plan B. And in the entire process, if a person feels that he or she might not leap over there, there are other diversions wherein he could branch out and then develop herself or himself.
Perfect. Yes, that is a plan B. Madhuri, what obstacles do you face during the UPSC preparation and how you overcome these obstacles?
Uh, the first and foremost obstacle for a middle class student is financial. When you have to think about if if you can uh, afford a class, if you can afford a test series, if you can afford a book, that is the first one. And the scholarships that I luckily and fortunately received from MIT or Chanakya or Sarthi helped me through it. The second obstacle I would say is the mental well-being, because the process is uncertain. You have ups and downs. At one point you feel like you're already an officer, and the other point you feel I can do nothing. I just have to find some petty job and then work through it. So this is the second obstacle. I guess meditation, talking with my colleagues, friends, and my parents did help me through this. And the third one is the obstacle of being flexible and adjustable. In the entire process, you need to change places. Maybe it in Delhi or Mains ka Ahmedabad or some other city, some other state. You need to be really flexible in the entire process. You just can't be rigid कि मुझे तो ऐसे ही चाहिए, मुझे तो यही चाहिए, ऐसे नहीं होता है. जो आता है उसमें खुद को ढाल के you need to get through it. So these are the three challenges and you should get over it.
Now, what do you do first for the nation and the society when you get the post?
The first one, I would be really humble throughout the process. As I am right now, even when the results were out, it did not make any difference to me, because the only difference was my parents are happy and I was as I am like now. Uh, I have a few priority areas that I can eye upon when I get into the services. The first one is I would like to work upon the gender equality. Gender equality does not only mean male and female equality, but right now the transgenders that are coming up, I think we need to focus on them because they are the most exploited class right now. I would channelize my efforts towards that. The second one is the children. Being a demographically a young nation, if we do not channelize the young people towards the right direction, I think the nation would be a disaster. The national education policy or the POXO acts that are already implemented, I would implement it in full focus from my side. And third one would be retaining what India has it in originality. We are a very diverse country, sir. I think that we already have many things that we can capitalize upon instead of borrowing something from the other states or other nations. So I guess if we work upon that and have a foundation built upon it, the years that are to come in the future will be really easy.
Thank you, Madhuri. Thanks for your nice thoughts. Nation really wants the civil servants like you. I once again congratulate you and wish you all the best in your future endeavors. Thank you.
Sir.
Thank you very
sir.
much.
Thank you.